Facebook friends, this is Michelle back with another video. It's been a minute since I've been on here making videos. I don't know, I've just been spending more time reading than actually planning what kind of a video to make, if that makes any sense. I've just been enjoying taking my sweet time, reading books that I'm really enjoying this month, and not trying to rush or get through a certain TBR so that I can make a video kind of thing. So yeah. And there's a reason why I don't do TBRs. I love watching them, but I'm not good at sticking to a plan. I'm a very random reader, mood reader, however, whatever you'd like to call it. So today I'm happy to bring you a book tag that I was so kindly tagged in by David at David G. His channel is fantastic. Please check him out. And this tag that I'm doing today is called the Coffee Book Tag. So let's get into it. I love coffee. I have to preface it by saying I am a coffee drinker. I love tea. I don't drink caffeine later, like in the day after morning. I only have my 2 cups of coffee in the morning and then decaf if I have to drink coffee later on. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a over consumer of coffee, but I do enjoy the taste, aroma, the smell, everything about coffee. So this is the perfect book tag for me to do. Prompt number 1, black coffee. Name a series that's hard to get into, but has hardcore fans. Well, I don't know about being hard to get into because I personally found this series very easy to get into. And the series I'm talking about is the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I read the first book, The Way of Kings, probably 10 years ago now, and absolutely loved it. I think he is a creative genius. The world building, the characters, the storylines, it's just unbelievable. So yeah, this fan base of Brandon Sanderson, as you may or may not know, are some of the most rabid and loyal and devoted fans on the planet. They have conventions specifically devoted to that book series, as well as his whole universe in which these books take place. He has his own Dragonsteel Festival or Dragonheart or something like that, I think it's called. His own publishing and his own, like he's had crowdfunding and stuff, and people will go to great lengths to support Brandon Sanderson and buy everything he writes. And yeah, he also, on the other hand, treats his fans very well. He comes out with surprise books that nobody even knows he's working on. He does fun things like at these conventions that take place. He dresses up himself. And he's very active on social media. He's always on YouTube. He's always giving updates as far as his current projects go, what he's working on, and he's really interactive with his fans. So I think the relationship is mutual when it comes to Brandon Sanderson. And once you're in that world, that's a series that just hooks you and has a very devoted legion of fanatical fans. Myself included. So yeah. Now, yeah, back to that first prompt again. I wouldn't call it so much hard to get into as daunting. The first 5 books are now out and there are projected to be 5 more. This arc of the story is over after the first 5. So, and Brandon Sanderson has said that he's not going to release the next book until 2031 or something like that. So who knows? He's full of surprises. Anything could happen. Number 2, Peppermint Mocha. Name a book that gets more popular in winter or a festive time of year. Well, I think across the board, the seasonal Christmas romance type of cozy books get really popular in winter, like the kind of like food for the soul, just like those Hallmark Christmas movies that people love on TV. I think those type of books are also super popular in the winter. You know, like falling in love around Christmas time seems to be a popular theme and appeals to people's hearts and imaginations at that time of year, so there's that. I also think in Halloween, I mean, that's my personal favorite time of year for books, is from between, September, October, the month of October in particular. A lot of books seem to be released at that time of year in the fall. And I love the horror, the psychological thrillers, the psychological suspense books. So there's nothing I love more than settling in the fall with a fire going, some candles lit, under a cozy blanket with a cup of hot tea, while the wind is blowing outside and blowing all the leaves around, and sitting down with a great horror or suspense book. That's my favorite. And I know a lot of people feel the same. The fans of the cozy autumn books, like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe book that was circulating around. I'm not sure if that's the exact title of it, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So definitely, those books seem to be really popular at those times of year, those seasonal books. Number 3, hot chocolate. What is your favorite children's book? Well, I mean, I'm sure I have some that I have totally forgotten about at this point of life, but when I was a kid, I loved the Nancy Drew mysteries. I wanted to be a sleuth. I wanted to be a detective, a private eye. I wanted to outsmart all the grown-ups and solve the mystery. So those books were right up my alley. Loved them. Prompt number 4. Double shot of espresso. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. Well, I'm really grateful that I have several to mention for this prompt. The 3 that came to mind immediately were The Weight of Blood by Laura McHugh. This is a murder mystery set in the Ozark Mountains that spans generations and involves dual timelines of a mother and a daughter. The daughter's friend has recently, her body's been discovered, murdered. And so in the daughter's search for answers, we unravel the mystery of her mother in this small town and what happened to her mom. This is full of fascinating characters. The plot moves along at a fantastic pace. I kept flipping pages deep into the night. I'm not one to stay up reading at night, but this book made me because I had to know what was going to happen next. And also, every person I recommended this to or loaned it to also loved it. So I know it's not just me. So yeah, The Weight of Blood by Laura McHugh. Another book that kept me reading from start to finish, I could not put down. Another one that kind of had a universal appeal, like most of the people I recommended it to loved it. And that book is Out by Natsuo Kirino, translated from the Japanese by Stephen Snyder. Fantastic book. We're following 4 women in an industrial park in Tokyo who work together at this bento lunch factory in the night shift. So this is very bleak, very dark, very foreboding, very atmospheric. And the villain in this book is, bar none, one of the best I've ever read. So it's a great edge of your seat book. The other one that kept me reading on the edge of my seat, in varying degrees throughout, but I couldn't stop reading, was Birnam Wood by Eleanor Catton. The story, while there's several different people we're following in here, Birnam Wood is a gardening collective, a cult, who we're following in New Zealand where this takes place. We're also following a billionaire businessman, and we're also following a rich couple who have a lot of money. All of these groups of people are vying for the same plot of land for different reasons, most of them nefarious. And the story goes from there. So yeah, I can't recommend this one enough. Number 5, Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. I'm just going to put a photo up on the screen. The Rebecca Yarros series, the Onyx Storm recently, the most recent one, everywhere. And do I want to read it? No. Will I? Probably not. but I've seen it everywhere. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not, you know, slandering it or the fans of that book. I'm just saying it's just not for me. Number 6, the hipster coffee shop. I would love to have a hipster coffee shop in my neighborhood to go and hang out, like Friends on the TV show. Like, that would be so fun to me. You know, just sit and hang out, have coffee or tea, talk about books. That would be awesome. Anyway, that hipster coffee shop. Give a book by an indie author a shout out. I recently read a fantastic, independently published, independent author book, and I will put a photo of it. It's called Of Mainframes and Monsters, or Of Monsters and Mainframes, one or the other. Anyways, this is a fantastic, hilarious sci-fi adventure where we're following a spaceship named Demeter who has consciousness. Like, it's the narrator of the story. And this spaceship shuttles humans back and forth between Earth and Alpha Centauri B, I believe, and back and forth for business, for pleasure, tourists, what have you. This is way in the future, of course. And the spaceship falls upon hard times because on one of the missions where the story starts, somehow Dracula manages to stow away on the spaceship, kills all 300 people on board. So this poor spaceship Demeter has to go back and, you know, shamed that it has lost control of its passengers, it couldn't prevent their deaths, etc., etc. It goes into a warehouse for repairs afterwards, and then they reissue it a new serial number and send it back out on the job. A second time, he loses a whole bunch of passengers again, this time to a werewolf that has somehow made its way on board. So as you can tell, this is a hilarious, wildly imaginative romp. If you're a fan of sci-fi, of humorous sci-fi, like funny, laugh out loud, hijinks, I think you'd actually really love this book. I can't praise the imagination and creativity of this book any higher. Check it out. Number 7. Oops, I accidentally got decaf. Name a book you were expecting more from. Okay, well, I have several that I was expecting more from. Recursion by Blake Crouch. Disappointed in that. Hot Air by Marcy Dermansky. And yeah, what can I say? I had higher hopes for those two, but I tried them. I read them and DNF'd them. No regrets. Number 8, The Perfect Blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet, but ultimately satisfying. Okay, again, I have a couple for this one. One that I read that was really beautiful, bittersweet, and this is kind of a trademark of this author's writing, I think, and that is Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. Really enjoyed this one. It's a family story about this family who are, well, the mother in the family is telling her children kind of her life story and about her romantic relationships before she met their father, and then how she met their father. And most of the action takes place in the summertime. They're actors in this local theater production of Tom Lake, a play. So yeah, they also run a cherry orchard, I believe, and really interesting. And a really nice, satisfying, bittersweet story. I really love this one. If you like that kind of thing, check it out. Another one I have that is also, I found really kind of bittersweet, was Wellness by Nathan Hill. Following a couple in the 90s in Chicago, how they meet each other under very strange circumstances, and the ups and downs of navigating their life together and their marriage, and what happens and what they go through, and how outside forces interfere and make them think and make them make different choices. Very interesting take on love, relationships, marriage, yeah, life in general, and its ups and downs. So I found this one to be also really a great bittersweet kind of a book. super satisfying, a really gripping page turner as well. Number 9, An Irish Pub Song by the Rumjacks, a book that is misunderstood. Well, for this one, I would say maybe, yeah, I'm going to go with Tender is the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I think this is the book that doesn't get the attention it deserves. I love The Great Gatsby. Love it. It's one of my favorite books. But you know what? I like this one just as well. And I can see why the first half of this novel would put off some people. It's very kind of a frantic, frenetic dialogue between the characters. It's set in the French Riviera, and we're following a young actress, an 18-year-old girl, who goes there on vacation with her mother. She meets this married couple and gets entangled with the husband, and the story goes from there. We meet these other characters as well. Like, there are a lot of people in the first part of this book, so yeah, it's kind of hard to, settle yourself in at first, but once you do, it is absolutely fantastic. The second part of this book takes place in Switzerland, and we're following the history of the husband of the married couple, Richard. And he's a psychiatrist, and his wife, Nicole, is mentally ill, and we learn their backstory in the second part of this book. So, yeah. Why do I think it's misunderstood? I don't know if, I think sometimes people try to put more into it than is actually there rather than taking it at face value. And maybe that's why people don't like it as much. I'm not sure. But for me, this one is just like right out there with The Great Gatsby. And another book that I would say is misunderstood would be All Fours by Miranda July. I know some people just dislike it because it's just not for them. They find it slow or unrelatable or annoying or what have you. And, I don't judge people who don't like this book. Like, everyone's entitled to their opinions. I just think there's a lot of room for misunderstanding with this particular book, just because it is so metaphor heavy that I think sometimes maybe some people might try to read this as though and take it literally rather than as a metaphor for something else. And so I think the intention of this author is also misunderstood in, there's a lot of things in here that could be misconstrued. And so for that reason, I would say this one could be misunderstood. So I guess that brings me to the end of the coffee book tag. This was a really fun one. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about my take on all of these prompts, and I will tag some people in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and enjoy doing this tag if you decide to do it. Bye for now.